Yes. Welcome back, everybody. It's Sunday. You know what that means. It's time for the All In Sports Huddle. It's your host, Joey B. And hanging out here in beautiful Chelmsford Center. Not the sunny side today, a little bit more cloudy, but we're going to have a good time today. We got some great guests. It's football season, so you know what that means. It's time to talk football, and I'm really excited to have a guest in studio that got it done on the field, in the classroom, and now he's going to be leading his old team, his old school in the MVC, which I believe is one of the toughest conferences, or some would say the toughest conference in the state. But we want you to text in. Text line is open, 617-764-9283. That's 617-764-9283. That spells WAVE. Got my guy, Mukala Kabongo, back in the studio. Mook, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Hey, welcome back, man. And haven't seen you in a while, man. Weddings and
summer basketball,
karaoke.
all that good stuff.
That's what it's all about, man. Enjoy your summer, right?
Yeah.
It's getting busy. It's football season.
Yeah.
So you're going to be all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, starting this week.
Yep, it is, man.
Yeah. College starts this week, too.
Yeah, college, yeah. It's going to be a good time. So, hey, I'm going to fade this music out, and without further ado, I want to welcome my guest to the show, head coach of Lowell High School. That sounds good. Head coach of Lowell High School, Coach Joe Harris. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, this is great. And I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about your story, because I think your story is a story that when you are working with these young men on the field, they know that you did everything that they're doing. You know what I mean? And so I think that, I read articles about you, and, you lead by example. And I think that that's the best leaders that lead by example. Look what I did. In the case of yours is a little bit even more in depth, because we were just talking off air. I saw some videos of you showing them how it's done on the deadlift, Coach.
Yeah. Sometimes those guys get me really excited in the weight room.
You had to get fired up,
Exactly. Sometimes I forget I'm not in my 20s no more. I can't be doing that.
I don't know, Coach. You look pretty good. How many plays you got in you?
None.
Got a few. I don't know, Coach. I think you got a few plays in you, man. But we're going to have a good time today. We're going to talk a little bit about Joe's story. Obviously, he was an all-26 Hall of Famer at Lowell High. Congratulations. What year was that? What year was that?
What year I got the Hall of Fame?
You got inducted, yeah?
Yeah, I think it was 2025.
2025. That's real cool. Yeah,
that was awesome.
And it's a lot of names in that Hall of Fame, man. It's Lowell High holds a special place for me because, number one, I grew up in Lowell for a little while. I went to Chelmsford. Guys gave me a hard time with that. I know, but I grew up in Pawtuckaville. But I knew a lot of the kids. I grew up with I grew up with the Boyles, the Stapletons. I was a McAvenue kid. But my old man was a Lowell High guy, and he always used to talk about Ray Riddick, and he played, and he talked about. I don't know if you ever heard the stories about Pascagoula, the Pascagoula, Mississippi trip. There was actually, Coach, it goes back. I guess they played in a bowl down there.
Yeah,
they played in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and they played in. That
was when Riddick was coaching, right?
Yeah, they took a trip down and they played in Pascagoula. It was real fun. My father had season tickets, and that's another person's going to be coming in. We have a Patriots historian out coming in. His name is Bob Hyldburg, and he's going to tell stories. But I used to ride on a bus. My old man used to have seasons. He was the original season ticket holder, and he used to have tickets with all these guys he went to school with. And they used to get on the bus, and I forget who it was, but it was amazing. He would do the play-by-play of the Pascagoula Lowell High game.
That's awesome.
So we would have a lot of fun in that. But what's it been like so far? Let's just get into a little bit of the conversation. I mean, you got named in March, right?
Yep.
You get named head coach in March. And, the kids obviously knew you because you'd been there. How long had you been there? You've been there through a few coaches, right?
Yeah. I think I've been there for going on my 4th year now. Yeah, so I've been there for 3 years as an assistant coach under Shy Cullen, and then 2 years under Scott Boyle, who I also played for. It's been an interesting ride. It's been it's been fun. It's been crazy. This is not something I had expected, but it's something I definitely wanted, and I'm enjoying every step of the way.
When you put it on, when it was out in front of you, obviously knowing what the school means to you and where and you played there, and obviously any coach in any level, but football. And before we go any further, I want to wish all the coaches and all the players and all the athletes and all the sports all the best as the season starts for us finally in Massachusetts. That was a whole other case. The MIAA held us back a little bit this year for everybody. So we're finally getting out there. We're done watching all the teams on max preps and all these games going on. It's time to put the helmets on, get that acclimation period done, right, for a couple days, and it's time to go. But I know that you guys have been working really hard in the off season. You have a great group of kids. What's it been like just, when you finally got the word that you were named head coach? Obviously, the kids knew you. It must have been an exciting time for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Very exciting. Obviously, it wasn't too difficult a transition because taking over after, what I would say is a Lowell High legend. Lowell's a very special place, and I played for Scott Boyle. He did a good job of, coming back and reestablishing the foundation of the program. The kids, like you said, know me, and great kids, a great group of kids. We graduated a lot of seniors last year, but we still got a few special ones left, and then our incoming freshman class, our sophomore class, got some really special kids there. They're really excited. I love being around them. They love kind of getting into the weight room, getting after it, working hard. So a little crazy with the transition, but it's been just taking one day at a time. The support from the athletic department has been fantastic. Scott Ouellette, the athletic director, has been super, super helpful. And the one thing I would say is lately I've been, connecting with the parents and the parent support, the alumni support. A few guys I can mention like Kevin Conley, Blake Galvin. They've been fantastic, and my staff is, for the most part, guys that worked with Scott Boyle last year, and we brought on some new guys to kind of help out, some experienced hands. So I'm really excited about everything. It's been a fantastic transition, a whirlwind for me. My life is definitely a lot different now than I had imagined, but I'm really excited to start the season finally. And like you said, the MVC is definitely, in my mind, one of the toughest division in Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
But Lowell, for me, is one of those special places that definitely has the history, has, the talent in terms of kids, and we're looking to really work hard to kind of put Lowell back where I feel like it belongs.
Excellent. Yeah. And folks, again, if you want to text in, we're talking to Coach Joe Harris, head coach of Lowell High. If you want to text in, ask any questions, we're here, or just enjoy listening in. The text line is 617-764-9283. Let's just talk before we'll go to a break, and then we'll come back and tell your story a little bit. But with the latest news, the MIAA approved the Super 8. Let's just get everybody's opinion of it. Obviously, it's been something that's been talked about. I got to give Alex Agrella and recruiting board. He kind of put it out there. It was something that was discussed. These Division I teams that are going against teams that are private schools. It was something that was like, hey. The same thing every year, right? If you looked at the top of the list, you looked at some of those teams. Now with the Super 8 being approved for 27, it's not going to be this year, but it's going to be 27. It's going to put those teams in the Division I and Division II levels in a Super 8. Which in Florida, they just approved it as well. And they're going to be doing that this year in Florida. I guess they're going to be doing like a double elimination in that Super 8. Overall, Luke, let's start with you. What's your opinion of the Super 8? Is it perfect? Is it an answer? What's your thoughts?
We're gonna have to see how it goes next year to see if it's perfect. But nothing's perfect. But as some coaches said, this is kind of a way to give some of those other schools an opportunity to win a state championship. Because it's been the last 5-6 years. It's either been St. John's Prep, Zavarian, CM. It's been those schools.
Well, I mean,
winning it all, and
Well, I just give an example like Winchester, right? They have essence to what they feel is like one of their best teams in a long time, right?
And their reward was to play
Catholic Memorial
in the semifinals.
and it was about what you were there.
I was there.
It was not very close.
It wasn't close. And also, I think it's cutting down the games too. I think we're going from.
Well, we're going to cut down the amount of playoff teams.
Teams.
So they're going to go 9 weeks of regular season.
Yeah.
So essentially what it's going to be is if you're a non-qualifier, you'll have one open game before that Thanksgiving opponent.
Yeah.
So that was always something where we've had teams that opted out. We've had teams that are like, I'm not playing you. And obviously it's tough when you know as a team that you're not in. Obviously, Lowell High had a great year great victory against Bethune, but there were years that recently where you weren't qualified, and that's tough, And I think I like personally what the MIA decided to do and cut those. I think, but then again, in your case, like I think you were 7-10. That was a 7-10, right, game?
Yes.
So. If in the new rules, that game wouldn't have even happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I guess it's tough. What are your thoughts, Joe?
No, I'm excited for it. I think it's definitely going to be different, but I think, like Mook was saying, we're going to have to experience it for the first year, next year, see how it goes, and maybe if there's improvements that need to happen, make those improvements. But I do agree. I think it's going to make things a lot more competitive. And some years when some schools feel like they have a good year, I think it would be good for them to kind of take a chance and try to really qualify for that Super 8 and test themselves against the best in the state. I think as a coach and as players, we always want to play against the best, but you definitely want to make it more competitive. I think cutting down one of those open games was a really good idea. It's good to have another good competitive game before we go into the Thanksgiving game, and then if at least you'll know you have a good chance in the playoffs to win something with your team.
Yeah, and I also feel like the Thanksgiving games, I know that there's been talk, and I know that some people in the football committee, they say that Thanksgiving game, if we had to give up that game for a true state championship and do it the way other states do it, we could. I don't know. I still feel like in this state of Massachusetts, Thanksgiving football means a lot.
It's special. It's special.
And I mean, I had the Andy Villamarzo from Rivals came up to those Fenway games with me, and then he actually went to that St. John's Zavarian Thanksgiving game, but he was like, he couldn't believe it. He's like, this game doesn't mean anything, and he's like, there was like 6,000 people there.
Yeah.
I go, that's what it is, People just come out. People that really don't come out much for any game. That's what they do. It's a tradition. They get up, they call their boys, they go, we're going to the game, right?
That's the pre-Thanksgiving meal thing to do.
Especially if you don't have to make the stuffing,
Right.
You just show up.
Yeah, you go out there, check out the next wave of talent, support, your alum,
Yep.
and all that.
Oh man,
so you can never get rid of the Thanksgiving games.
That English classical game means something out there.
Oh yeah, it does.
I know it does. That's it. Yeah. Bulldogs have been getting that bragging rights lately.
Yeah, the past couple of years. This year should be interesting. But both got interesting teams coming back this year.
Well, cool. Well, hey, guys, thanks for listening in. Again, I got Joe Harris here from the head coach of Lowell High. We're going to get into a little bit of music. We're going to come back. We'll talk his story and then really talk kind of like, expectations, talk about what he's looking to bring, maybe some difference using some of obviously the coaches that his mentors as well. But, again, if you want to text in, ask any questions, we are here, 617-764-9283. You're listening to the All In Huddle. How about a little Wiz and MGK, a little Passport? WRB Rocks is your entry into the world of Wave Radio Boston. Social media links? Check. Listen to our live stream? Check. Learn more about our shows? Check. Listen to our show replays? You can do that too. Go to WRB Rocks for everything Wave Radio Boston. Join the real radio revolution and say F you to FM with Wave Radio Boston. And we're back here. It's Joey hanging out with Mook and Coach Joe Harris from Lowell High School, and We're having a good time. We were just listening to a little YLM Forest, This Moment, Pray, and then we had that Wiz Khalifa MGK track, Passport. They just finished a tour with each other. So hey, we're gonna bring this music out, and we're just gonna talk a little bit, man. Joe, I would just love you to tell your story a little bit. I think it's a great story. Coming from Lowell to go back. Obviously, you had great success in high school, and then went on to college and had an incredible career. But just let people know just a little bit about your story, because I think it's a great story.
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally from a small country in West Africa called Liberia, but I pretty much grew up in Lowell. I came here when I was really young with my family, and I think, like you said earlier, Lowell's a special place where it has a lot of culture, a lot of mix, and just a lot of support, especially around the kids in sports and in football. So if it wasn't for football, really, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be sitting here telling this story, which makes kind of football that special sport that it is. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Lowell, started playing football junior high, 8th grade year. And I think it was the first year they started the Lowell Junior High League.
Yeah, which is an incredible league.
Yeah.
It started by Marty Ty. We were just talking about Marty. Shout out to Marty Ty and the folks that started that. That's a free football league for middle school age kids in the city of Lowell.
Yes.
And it's supported, I know, through all sorts of events and fundraising. They keep it free for the kids in the city.
Which is very special. It's ran right now by a guy named Ronan Dunn.
Who's on your staff, right?
He's also on my staff.
Yeah,
it's good
great
to
guy.
have that connection with the youth program and give them a lot of support, because they really start that journey for a lot of kids who may not get that opportunity. So I played for junior high 1 year, and then went on to play for Lowell High, which I think the whole year I was in junior high, I was just thinking about, playing for Lowell High, which makes it special. One guy that I looked up to. He was kind of the star running back before I went to Lowell High. His name was Survivor Ross. He ended up going to BC, and my mindset was always, I want to be better than Survivor Ross. I mean, if you talk to him,
Great name, by the way.
yeah,
Great name.
imagine
Probably
that
a
name.
top 10 name right there.
100%. But I didn't end up being better than him, but I think I got close enough. But yeah, so played for Scott Boyle for 4 years, and Coach Boyle helped me with a lot of the assistant coaches there.
Coach Boyle, Lowell through and through, man.
Yes,
There's nobody. I mean, his background, obviously, growing up in Lowell, playing. What can you say? I mean, obviously he was a big influence on you, but what did he when you played for him? What were the things that you take now as a coach?
Yeah.
That he instilled in you guys as players.
Yeah, and I mean, I think when I had gotten to Lowell High, the program had developed to such a level that you came in and you just fell into the culture, right? The culture was established. It was really a senior-led team, and it was all of the work that I think Coach Boyle did with his assistants over there, just setting that tune. And it was a whole mindset of hard work, never giving up, working harder than everybody else, training yourself throughout the year. And really, that's where I understood that low tough concept. Like nothing's going to be given to you. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to overcome adversity. I always tell the players that I have now, it's like my first year at URI, because I got a scholarship there, was my camp at URI was easier than all my high school camps. I worked harder in high school that when I went to college, it felt like a piece of cake.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that. I mean, and obviously a lot of wrestlers will tell you that too. If you wrestled at any point in your life, going to camp, but that just shows you what kind of camp and how when you went into the season at Lowell High under coach, you were ready.
We were ready.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, let's talk about Lowell High. I mean, your impact at Lowell High pretty quickly developed, right? Came right in. When did you really start playing at Lowell? Did you get significant playing time as a freshman, sophomore?
As a freshman,
Yeah.
very little. It was really just a lot of good practice time. It wasn't until late in the season I really started to get some playing time.
Yeah.
But my sophomore year was where I kind of made a huge impact and got a lot of playing time defensively initially, and then a little bit offensively as well. And in Lowell, it's like you have to play both sides of the ball, which I like. It helps you understand the whole game, you know, offensive, defensive. And I've always been a student of the game. I've always wanted to learn how to, you know, why we did what we did, you know, and how to understand that. So
I think that's important as a coach. A lot of times we talk about this too. It's like coaches will say, "Hey, you got to do this," but if you don't explain the why, that's the key part.
Exactly.
This is why we're doing this, guys.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's good for these kids too to learn the game, you know, and it transforms them as a player and makes them kind of, you know, an extension of the coach on the field. So going back to my story, it was really just, you know, a lot of playing time my sophomore year, and then after that I just, you know, took the opportunities I got with a lot of support from the coaches and just kept working hard, and I was eventually lucky enough to get a scholarship to play for the University of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
What was the year? What year was it during your high school time that you really, your name really started getting big and you really started to break out and come into your own zone?
That was my junior year. Sophomore year was a formative year for me. It was really understanding what it meant to play varsity football. I've always known, because of the culture at Lowell that Coach Boyle said, we always knew how to practice at the varsity level, at the high intense level.
Yep.
And I had a lot of guys ahead of me that really, I mean, they beat me up so bad that I had no choice but to learn during practice, which was awesome. So sophomore year was that formative year, but by my junior year, I was ready. And so I think after my junior season is when my name started to get out there, and I was able to, you know, going into my senior year now, I felt like a fifth-year senior almost.
Yeah. And obviously those years at Lowell High, playing in the MVC, as a player, you know, you have a unique, and you know, there are quite a few coaches that have this experience coaching and playing, but you played in the MVC, and you know the rivalries, and we were just talking. You were nice enough to come into Lions territory.
Lions Den. I'm in the Lions Den.
You were nice to come into the Chelmsford Lion territory, but you talk about that. You know, growing up into the MVC games. Obviously, played a lot of them.
Yeah.
There were some open dates, I think, at the time, but it's a little different now than it was. It was pretty much a whole MVC schedule. Thoughts? Remember playing in the MVC? What did it mean to you, like those games?
It was amazing. It was every week was a tough week. Every week was a challenge. I can remember a week where it was like not gonna be a tough competitive game. You knew you was gonna it's gonna be a lot of hitting, and we played in grass back in the day. So later on in the year, it was wet. It was muddy.
Mud bowls, man.
Don't let it snow.
Make sure you get those extra long cleats on.
Yeah, and we played every single team in the MVC that time. You know, Beauregard was strong, Chelmsford was strong, Central Catholic, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, my year, it was a three-way tie for the MVC championship between us, Central Catholic, and Drake. And then Haverhill, every Thanksgiving game, we knew they were going to bring it. So it was in Tewksbury, obviously. They're really strong now, really well-ran program.
Yeah. It's incredible what he does over there.
Fantastic.
You know, with a school the size that Tewksbury is.
Yeah, fantastic.
They just always seem to put out. It's that mindset.
It's the mindset, it's the culture, right? And we tell our kids, you know, every time you're going to play a school like Tewksbury, and even there's a lot of other similar schools in the MVC, you know that those kids are never going to give up. So you're going to have to beat them. They're not going to make mistakes, right? You're going to have to out-tough them, which is not easy to do.
Yeah.
You guys had a good game with Tewksbury last year.
Yeah.
Over there at Tewksbury. That was a wild one over there.
Yes, it was. It was fun. Obviously, we ended up on the wrong side of things, but, you know, it's a learning experience, right? And it's kind of rebuilding our culture, our mindset of, you want to be in those games. You want to be in those tight, close games where not a game where you're getting blown out, but a game where it's close. You have a chance to always win. Even not a game where you're blowing the other team out, right? You want to be in those competitive games.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, we're talking to Joe Harris, head coach at Lowell High School, former Rhodey Ram, and
they're in town this week, actually. Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Yeah, they're visiting Merrimack this Friday.
They are. Okay. That should be a good game. Hey, bringing the guys to the game, Coach?
We won't unfortunately have time for that
I
because
know.
we're starting on Monday. So.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And we have a shorter period to get ready, so
I
we
know.
got to hit the ground running.
I know you're actually going to be heading to camp. I know
Yeah.
you're one of the few that do that still, and we'll talk about that. But I do want to talk about your time in Rhode Island because over 235, I believe, tackles in college.
Yeah,
That's quite impressive, Coach. Significant playing time right from the beginning.
yeah.
When you got to Rhode Island, as you said, you were ready. The conditioning drills and the drills weren't. You're like, I've done this before. What is the overall impact of Rhode Island and working with those guys? They know that you've been at the highest level. So, when you work with them, I mean, do you feel like they understand kind of what what you experience? Obviously, kids are kids and they're younger, but they don't understand necessarily all the work that has to go. But some of these kids can see what ultimately you've done and worked. How's that been? Do they kind of know your background and they know where you've been in your experience?
Yeah, I try not to. When I first started coaching, I leaned on that a lot. My experience, and especially playing at a Division I level and going through the transition from high school to college and kind of being in their shoes. Now I try not to talk about it too much, but except in the case of where I'm trying to remind them of where hard work takes you and where you can end up. And I think as they get older is when it starts to really set in. Obviously, when they're younger, when they're freshmen, they just look at me as like, especially now it's different as the head coach because I still want the kids to look at me as approachable. But those freshman guys, they're looking at me and they're like, oh my God, like, I can't even talk to this guy. Whereas I got a lot of seniors and even my sophomore class now, they're, to me, when we're in the weight room, it's almost as if, yes, I'm still the head coach, but I'm that guy that they know my story, they know my background, they know I'm a little guy like them, and I kind of enjoy that a lot more than not being approachable.
No, that's great, and that's, I mean, I think that's what the thing is your experience, knowing that you were there, you were in these, although the school's going through an amazing renovation. By the way, that facility is where you guys are now is great. But they understand. Hey, man, this guy coach has been here. He grew up like us. So I think it's special in that aspect. We're gonna go to one more break, but let's talk about like some of the things that Coach Boyle, taught you. What are some of the things that you're bringing with his experience? You're not trying to. I know you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. The culture's kind of been building. The last couple of years have been going well, but what are some of the things that you're going to take from him? But what are some of the aspects of, your coaching style? Because you were at Fitchburg, you've been other places, you played. What are you going to bring that's a little different as well?
Yeah, so definitely from Coach Boyle, I think what we're trying to set is that mindset of hard work. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to get after it. I think for me, it's I want to develop players that understand the game and understand the history of Lowell. Lowell's such a special place to me. Lowell football is such a special thing for me, and the history that it has. There's so much diverse alumni, so many successful alumni that have come around. I really want to build or rebuild that connection with the alumni, but it's really for me, my coaching style is I want to understand the player, understand kind of where they're coming from, because I've been there too. I've kind of grown up and walked the streets that they've walked, and I want to understand kind of their struggles, what they're dealing with, and then use that to help them improve and get to where they want to get to. I think having that personal connection with players is very important as a coach, and tailoring your coaching style and also your game and how you implement football in terms of the X's and O's to what makes those players excel is an important trait as a coach, and that's what I'm looking to kind of add and bring in different, and then also just bring back that senior-led mindset. Let the kids set the culture, right? Once we establish it, let them drive it.
No, absolutely, and I think that's important. I always like coaches that say, hey, I'm not going to try to fit a a round peg in a square hole. I'm going to take a look at the talent that I have. I'm going to take a look at what we have and implement that an offense or a defense that I feel is going to work best for us. If we have a lot of fast guys that can move, and maybe we go to a 3-5 or things like that, or offensively, maybe we're going to go spread, and so you work with that.
Exactly.
Any coaches that obviously you're bringing back most of your staff, right? I mean, there's a few changes, but you're bringing back pretty much everybody, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. For the most part, I'm bringing back the whole staff. They've all agreed to kind of stay on and help continue building what we started last year. I'm bringing on a couple new guys. One of them is my offensive coordinator, Jordan Ballerino. He played at Beauregard High.
And Jordan is a lacrosse coach.
He's a
as
lacrosse
well.
coach at the high school. I think he's a great offensive mind, young coach still, even though he's been coaching for a while. But he's going to bring a lot of good things, especially for our young players, young quarterbacks.
Where was Jordan prior to being here coaching it? Was he on the staff at Lowell High as well?
He was
okay.
Not last year, but in previous year. I think he took a year off from football, focused on that lacrosse program, built it to where they're really, turned around that program. And he's looking to continue to do that and helping us out for football as well now. On the offensive side of things, I also brought on Shy Cullen, who's a guy that I coached.
That's great. It's good to see Shy's coming back. Obviously, Shy had an incredible. Obviously, he had a time where he's the head coach, but his background, again, just like you, played at a high level at Syracuse.
Exactly, and he can really show that to these kids. And Shy's a kid just like me that comes from a low background, right, and had to work hard to get to where he is now, and to get to where he ended up being at Syracuse. And I really want to show the kids now that anything is possible for them, right? If you work hard and you're dedicated, anything you want to do is there for you. So having Shy back on the staff, he brings a similar mindset to me too, about that toughness, that drive, which I always love having on my staff. And then I am adding a guy who's going to come on mainly as a mentor for me. It's my first year as a head coach, and I'm looking to work with a guy who's been coaching in the league for a while, John Sexton. He's going to come onto my staff and just kind of help me make
He was just recently at Central.
Help us with kind of those decisions that, it's not always, I may not always see, but he has so much experience, and just help the program overall, help my young coaches. I'm really looking forward to working with him. And then so many other new guys to mention.
That's great. I mean, it's right, and you got a good sized staff, and obviously the more having guys that want to come in and step in and volunteer. Some obviously some are stepping in just to learn that get more into the game and offer their time.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about. Well, hey, listen, we're gonna come back. We're gonna play a couple tracks. We got some Nikki G with West Side Boogie here, and a little policy, and then we're going to talk maybe about some players, maybe some upcoming opponents, and then we're going to have Bob Hyldburg in a little bit from the Patriots. I already saw that Patriots hat out in the center here, so hey, hang with us. It's the All In Sports Huddle. Oh yeah, a little Pearl Jam for you on a Sunday, a little corduroy. And hey, you know what? We're gonna switch it up. I want to thank Joe for joining us today from Lowell High School. Good luck to those guys. They're getting ready to work. They're getting ready to work. They're getting ready to work, man. Tomorrow it starts. Yeah. So, but hey, I am really excited because everybody who knows me, who knows this station, we're big Pats fans here. Mook will never bet against the Pats.
Never.
Mook will never bet against the Pats.
I have yet to
even
do
in
so.
Paulie's picks.
Yeah.
So
Paulie
G, yeah, we should have. Paulie G's going to be coming in, calling in. Paulie. So for those that Bob does not know, by the way, Bob Hyldburg. Bob.
Hello, Joe.
Welcome to the show, Bob Hyldburg. Did I say it right? Hyldburg.
Hyldburg, yes.
The Patriots historian.
Imagine that.
Who named you the Patriots historian? I know you are the Patriots historian, but you are the official Patriots historian, correct?
Well, I became the creative historian from Nick Caffato. I used to submit stuff to him in the Boston Globe.
Nick Caffato.
And then the Herald picked it up and said, Karen Garrigan hired me for a couple of years to give some obscure stats for her Sunday article in the Boston Herald. So she called me the Patriots historian, and then Stacey James has called me a few times. Can you tell us the coldest games, the wettest games? What about this game? What about that game? So
the fact that Stacey James, who is the is he PR for the Patriots? What's his title with the Patriots?
Yeah, he's the Vice President of Media Relations.
Vice President of Media Relations, asking you, reaching out to you, going, "Can you tell me the coldest game?" Then you know that you're dealing with the man right here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So I started the I think back to all my times as a Patriots fan. My old man was an original season ticket holder. He told me stories that you can actually tell in your book. By the way, Bob is an author of a book. And Bob, you want to talk about the book? You have it with you today.
Yeah, this is the first one. This is called Total Patriots. And it goes back really to the Vespa Country Club in Tingsboro.
The Vesper Country Club. You know, my buddy Gary Mulkeegan, who's a huge Patriots fan, did say that it started at Vesper Country Club?
In November of 1959.
Vesper Country Club, which around here people know it's a very high-end, great golf club. Can we start it in 1959? Can we start the story in 1959 when there's idea of this new football league that was going to compete against the NFL, the
Right.
big bad boys? No one could beat the NFL. Well, somebody had an idea. It turned out it was pretty good, but it didn't start all that great, right?
So you remember Upton Bell, Upton Bell and Bob LaBelle?
Upton Bell and Bob LaBelle.
So Upton Bell's father, Bert Bell, was the commissioner of the NFL. And he is in the process of whether they're going to expand or not. And in October of 1959, he's at a Philadelphia Eagles game, and he dies of a heart attack at halftime.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So he was all set of maybe expanding, and when that happened, Lamar Hunt in Texas said, I'd like to compete. He wanted to put a team into the NFL, and then with no commissioner now, he says, I'm going to get some guys together. Maybe we can form our own league. And they had 6 teams. They needed 8. And Seattle was one of them, and Boston was one of them. And Boston had the Boston Yanks, the Boston Braves, the Boston Redskins in the 40s and 50s. And
Yeah, which
Billy
people
Sullivan.
don't even realize, the Boston Redskins. I mean, you think about it. And they had the Braves. That's what was very interesting. Football had, there was football teams and there was baseball teams with the same name. That was pretty
So the
prevalent.
Boston Redskins played, actually the Boston Braves started first. The Boston Braves were playing at Braves Field in the 40s.
Okay.
And they couldn't get the crowd. So they moved the team to Fenway Park, and they can't call them the Braves because they're not playing at Braves Field anymore.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Let's call them the Redskins, and the reason they call them the Redskins is they had a big warrior kind of atmosphere. We want to fight, and they didn't want to change the uniforms, so they had the guy's face of the Redskin on the uniform. They said, let's just keep the Indian theme, call them the Redskins. They were there for a year. They still didn't get the crowd, and then they moved to Washington and became the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
So it started here as the Boston Braves.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, which is it's incredible, the story. And obviously, guys, we're here with Bob Hyldburg, the Patriots historian. If you want to text and ask any questions, it is open 617-764-9283. So getting back to the story, Bob.
So a bunch of guys get together at the country club in Tingsboro, and they said, we need another team. And Billy Sullivan had no money. And they said, you got to come up with $250,000, $25,000 to start, 10%, then can you raise the money? And he knew a bunch of people, Dom DiMaggio and different people that owned 7-Up and places like that. And he said, yeah. And actually, he went to his wife. They had $8,000 saved. Now, imagine that you got a wife, you got a couple kids, and you're saving money so you can buy a house down the Cape. and then go to your wife and say, listen, now we're going to take that $8,000 and we're going to put it into this team. Even though they failed in the 40s, in the 50s, I think we can put something together. And they became the final franchise on November 16th, 1959, up at the Vespa Country Club.
Yep.
And then about a month later, they had the AFL draft. So they formed the American Football League with 8 teams, and we were the last ones.
And obviously having 8 teams, you could have 7, I guess, but it was really important to get that 8th team to solidify the league. And so it got done at Vesper Country Club, everybody.
Imagine that, right down the street.
Right down the street, literally. And that's where I got married, actually. I got married at St. Rita's, and our reception was at Vesper. So pretty cool. Bob, for people that want, just tell people a little bit about yourself. I mean, to be a historian, to go and pull this information, the passion and just the love of the Patriots. Just tell people a little bit about your story, because I think it's a cool story.
I think it's a cool story too. So I'm 8 or 9 years old, playing midget peewee.
And what town?
In Bridgewater. Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Go Bridgewater Little League. They lost, but that's all right.
Yeah, great. Hey, they made it.
I played in that same field 58 years ago, whatever it was. So I'm collecting baseball cards. I'm playing football. We have a banquet at the East Bridgewater Commercial Club, and I meet Jim Chiunsky. He was the speaker, and I actually got a napkin signed by him, Jim Chiunsky, Go Pats, future Patriot. So I'm like, wow, I just met a Patriots player. My dad sees that I'm excited. He says, let's go to a game at Fenway Park. We go to a game, December 1967 at Fenway Park. We were pathetic in 1967. We lost 44-16. I bought the program. I still have the program. It's beat up a little bit.
Wow.
And Gino Cappelletti's a big star, 64 MVP. Babe Perilli's out there.
All these names, man.
That's it.
My old man used to tell me about Babe and Gino, and
I met all those guys. So I jump on the field, after the game, and running around the infield, and they're like, I'm a 9 year. What are they gonna do? 9 years old, and I meet Gino Cappelletti for like 2 seconds, and he goes. 50 years later, he wrote the foreword for my book.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So I'm excited. I'm collecting. I'm watching. They stink. And then in the 70s, I'm 13, 14, I go to a couple games. And then it really just happened that I like numbers. I became an accountant. I went to Northeastern. I like stats. And, I'm sitting around with friends of ours, and you ever play the game, who's the greatest number 7, greatest number 10? So we're sitting around in 1994, and we're going through the 40s and the 50s, and I couldn't think of Minnie Mac Herron's phone number. And I was like, Minnie Mac, I love Minnie Mac. So I called Gil Santos. I'm from Bridgewater, he's from Rainham. His son was a student with my sister.
And obviously these people, when you're talking Gil Santos, you're talking the voice of the Patriots. It's incredible, the names that are coming up today. If you're a Patriots fan, you know who they are.
So Gil Santos said, hey, get a media guide. I got a media guide. And the media guide didn't have uniform numbers in it.
Really?
So I said, well, I want to know every uniform number of every player. And that's how my quest started.
Wow.
And then how do I do that? I network. So I start talking to Ronnie Hobson of the Patriot Ledger. I meet Will McDonough of the Boston Globe.
Legends.
I meet the guys, the Lee Montvilles and the Charlie Pierces, if they're doing something. Who do we know? Who do I talk to? I end up meeting some chief statisticians of the team that had worked for them in the 60s and 70s, Tommy Hoffman and that kind of stuff, Phil Castanetti. He knew a bunch of those guys from Sports World. He said, hey, talk to this guy, Chuck Shunter and Larry Eisenhower. And then eventually I met Gino and Babe and Nick Bonacorni and all those guys. And then eventually, one of the things that happened is that when Steve Grogan was doing an autograph signing one time, and I'm in line to get Steve autographs, and there's people, and it's like, why are you here?
You told me this story. This is a great story.
And the woman behind me says, well, he's a football player. What's his name? I don't know. Do you know anything about him? No, I don't, but my son probably does. So I go up to Steve, and I said, Steve, if you're doing another one down the road, I'm going to put together the stats of all your career. And I'll make a bunch of copies, and we'll pass them out so people know who you are. Well, next thing you know, he's calling me. Hey, Raven Clayborne's coming to town. Mike Haynes is coming to town. Russ Francis is coming. All these guys from the 70s. I saw a lot of those games. Bridgewater.
Legends, man. The guys that I grew up watching. You know, I mean, we're probably close in the same
my
age.
God,
But
yeah,
you know, Russ Francis. Oh my God, Michael Haynes.
So
Raymond
I started
Claiborne.
meeting all those, Randy Vataha, all those guys, and I would have their stats, and then eventually I would call the Patriots, and Stacey James called me because he knew Nick was writing some stuff about me, and he says, what do you know about this? What do you know about that? I said, Stacey, is there any way that I can come in and kind of go through your stuff? Because I'm kind of having some struggles finding in the 60s, you know, some stuff. It's not online. There's no internet about the Boston Patriots. Yeah, come on in Tuesdays, but you got to be there when I get there in the morning at 7:15 in the morning, and you leave whenever you want. And I would be there at 7:15 in the morning and stay until 10 o'clock at night.
Jeez.
And I'd have a room to myself. I'd have videos going. I'd have notebooks, and I was writing everything down. And every Tuesday, no, we can't do it this week.
Now,
about next
how
week?
would you? So, would they have just would they have a room? How did they keep? How do they keep?
They
this
had it all in the
information?
archives. So I just said, here's the key. There's the bathroom right over there. And just, you know.
You were in a room with
And,
all the history.
I would take a
the
day off,
history
an
of the
afternoon
Patriots.
off.
The
Oh
his-
my God! And it was so. I'm looking up every block punt. I'm looking up every double lateral. I'm looking up every sack. Eventually, the Patriots gave me. They had an intern, and at every game they have a play-by-play, and they write down everything on the line. Third down.
Yep.
12 seconds left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Left tackle. You know, boom, boom, boom. Tackle by this. So they gave me a disc of every single game and every single play in every single game. And I went through at home or in the office. All right, this is a sack. This is a fumble. This is a lateral. And I started collecting just the most obscure stats you could ever think of. And this was a hobby. This was like,
Well, I'm just thinking, like in my mind, like you know, like I'm just thinking, like I'd like to know the player who has the most negative yards in the history of the Patriots. Like,
yeah.
you probably know that, or maybe the person that has the most yards lost for tackles for loss. Who
Yeah.
leads the
Well, I mean, Andre Tippett has 100 sacks, so
100 sacks? So tackles for
you know,
loss.
so
Yep,
chances
yep.
are he'd be up there. Yeah.
Yep. 100. So he still leads. He still leads the
He
Patriots.
still leads the team. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
and actually, I was part of a team. Ron Borges called me and said, "Hey, you know, Grogan gave you the name Bob the Stat Man, you know." And I says, so Borges says, "I give the presentation to the Hall of Fame about the Patriots." He says, "For 14 years, I've been saying the same thing. We can't get him in. We got one more shot. 15 years, then you go to the senior committee." He says, "See what you can do to give me something that I don't know about Andre Tippett." So I spent about 3 months looking through every single play, double team, you know, all the stuff that he did, to force this and force that. And I gave him some stuff. He said, "Oh, this is cool. I can use that." And Andre gets in 2008, his final and 15th year. I mean, it helped that the Patriots were undefeated the year before. And all
Yeah,
that
but
kind
you
of
know,
stuff.
I mean, that was way too long. I mean, Andre and what he did for the Patriots during that time, they weren't unfortunately, for a lot of years, they weren't a very good team while he was
Yeah.
playing.
100 sacks.
But he was also. I want to shout out my guy Taz, who Taz was wanted to come in. He's he's a host of a show here. He had mentioned that at one point in time, his family owned a karate studio, and he's got a background in karate,
sure.
and he actually judged Andre Tippett in a karate segment. So imagine a guy with that kind of power and speed and ability, and he's good with the martial arts.
So, I mean, the idea of me is I want to find out what did it take to become a professional player and then a great player. And there's over 1,500 players that have played for the Patriots, and about 15% of them, their whole career is 3 games or less.
Wow.
So I started collecting. The guy only played in 1 game. What did he play? Did he touch the ball? What was his number? What was his nickname? So I started collecting the background of all of these guys that played in 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. And
Well, Bob, for a person like myself, you know, I guess what my question is when you look back, you know, obviously the game is different now, much different than when it was.
Right.
I mean, when the Patriots would go to camp in the 60s, how many guys would go to camp in that camp and compete? How many
their first training camp was July 4th, 1960 at UMass.
July 4th.
350 people showed up.
350.
Truck drivers, laborers, plumbers, carpenters, big fat guys, and then they would bus them back and forth. You're out. And then there were guys that sometimes they'd miss the bus to go back to get on the plane to wherever they came from or the car. And they'd stick around for 2 or 3 days. Didn't we cut you? Yeah, but you feed me. And they took over the dorms at UMass. So it was insane.
Oh,
they had
my
like
God.
19 quarterbacks, and then they finally get down to 7. And then the guy they actually started the season with, they thought he was 32 years old, Butch Songa, and he was actually 36.
Oh, wow.
He lied just to play, but he threw the first touchdown pass in the first game in the AFL to Jim Kokler of Quincy. So
Wow.
we played in the first AFL game, and actually in the first exhibition game, Bob D from Braintree strip sacked Tommy O'Connell and recovered the fumble in the end zone. Tommy O'Connell is the father of Mike O'Connell of the Bruins.
Wow. That's incredible. And then these are the stats, guys. We're talking to Bob Hyldburg, the Patriots historian, man. And, we're just talking about, he wrote a book. And talk about that 9-year-old. Love numbers, but the love of the Patriots, man. Where did this love come from? Just watching them, growing up with them, going to games with your dad. Talk about that. I just want to know, because I love the Patriots, but I didn't write a book, and I think there's a lot of people out there. And where does it, this passion come from, man? Is it just loving this team? I mean, and there was some tough years. I mean,
There were some tough years, but the guys stuck around. A lot of the guys that came to play for the Patriots stuck
Stay around.
So you got to know them. You got this. You see Grogan on TV. You see John Smith having a soccer camp and that kind of stuff.
and the Weetabix.
Yeah, right. Pete Brock and some of those guys. Russ Francis. So, I mean, Russ Francis is the craziest guy. You think Gronk was crazy. Russ Francis, they would practice and they'd have like a 2-hour break. So they're practicing in Foxborough, and he had a airline pilot's license. So he would go to Norwood, get a couple guys. They'd fly to Nantucket, have lunch, and then fly back in Norwood and still get back in time. Except one time when they got fogged in. And where's Francis and these 2 other guys? Oh, they're in Nantucket. What are they doing there? Well, they can't fly because it's low ceiling, And they had to wait for the fog to lift before we could get back to practice. So.
Yeah, no, I know Russ. Russ was. I do remember hearing Russ was an interesting character.
So I just enjoyed talking to these guys, and they were just fun to be with.
I think
and
that's
you never
the
went
point.
to a game to expect the Patriots to win.
Yeah, I think
It was always exciting, but if they won, it was great. But you went to see the other team.
That's an important point, Bob. I think the accessibility of athletes at that time, the Patriots, where they are now, a lot harder to get access to athletes these days.
Yeah.
Back in the day, these guys were working off season.
Oh,
A lot
sure.
of them had
Yep.
jobs. The money wasn't the kind of
Yep.
money that it is now. These guys were all working out there, and even Steve Grogan, he still has a business in the family, Grogan
Right,
Marciano.
Marciano, yeah.
Yep. So
he's in Kansas now. His family's taking it over.
Yep.
Grogan's taking care of his parents now. But yeah, he had it so these guys were available, and they had. I mean, there's Lenny and Steve Nelson had the bar and stuff.
Yep.
And Fred Schmerlis and Steve Diossi, all those guys that came even later, they were all around.
How is it seeing the Patriots in their formative years early? Talk about early on. You're seeing them early on, and then when we get to, they make the Super Bowl in the '80s. They make another one in the '90s, some down years, and then they go on the run that they went on with of success. Right, for you. Watching the team since you were a kid and to that point where they win these Super Bowls and become one of the greatest dynasties in sports, right? How's that for you and some of the guys that you grew up with that you were watching the Patriots with, just witnessing that from the beginning?
Stunning is and just an awe that Tom Brady, 199th pick, they kept him on the practice squad the first year. They don't keep 4 quarterbacks, but they saw something special there.
In him, man. Yeah, thank God they did.
One of the things, I mean, everyone asks who's my favorite player. My favorite player, other than Gino Cappelletti, because I saw him play, was Troy Brown, because he was an 8th round pick. and they don't have 8th round anymore. And he made the team, and he gets cut, and he comes back, and then he plays in those playoff games, and he makes like the most amazing plays. You know, he catches the pass against the Rams. He laterals the ball to Antoine Harris against the Steelers. I mean, those,
I was in San Diego.
miracles of like we saw in '76. '76, we should have won the whole thing, but it just
Crap
didn't
call,
happen.
Sugar Bear Hamilton on that late hit. That was a bad call, and
So here's the story here that nobody knows. I've talked to John Hanna about this. This is a secret. So in '76, the league wanted the Raiders to win because the Raiders were trying to move and trying to get funding so they could move.
they were
From
trying
the-
to move back then.
Yes.
Where were they looking to move to?
Well, from Oakland to L.A.
Oh, so
right?
they were still that LA thing was always happening.
Right.
Okay.
So the league says, all right, you guys want to move? So Hanna, according to what I talked to him about, he says the league won, and they only lost one game that year to us, 48-17
Right.
here.
Earlier in the
Earlier,
year.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the calls went the Raiders' way.
A lot of them.
Okay, a lot of them. There was a holding call. They moved the ball a little bit, and they didn't get a first down. They didn't have the technology. 76, we would have won the whole thing, but it didn't happen. The Raiders won. So then in '85, the Patriots, after the Chuck Sullivan.
Are we talking about in LA?
fiasco-
Are we talking about when they were in the Coliseum?
No, but
Oh.
the reason that the Patriots actually made it to the Super Bowl is because during the year, the Patriots were for sale, and the league wanted to kind of up the value of the New England Patriots. So during the year, they had a decent team. Grogan got hurt, Eason, and they went back and forth with quarterbacks, and then Grogan led them there. And then finally, Eason stepped up in the playoffs, but the league said, all right, let's get the play. So we beat the Jets, and then we beat the Raiders out there, and then we beat Miami, and then we go to the Super Bowl. But the league was like, let's get the value of this team up. And then, of course, the Bears just smoked us.
Yeah, there was no
So-
beating the Bears that game, man.
Is that-
They were loaded.
Conspiracy that the league wants one team to win versus another, but there were some breaks that happened.
Yeah.
There's some breaks in games, and I thought you were going to bring up the whole Matt Millen Sullivan
that was crazy.
fiasco
Yeah.
at the end of the game. That was pretty funny, man. The Sullivans, think about what they did, and this team obviously is owned by Robert Kraft, and that's a whole other story. Thank God for Robert Kraft.
Right.
This team was going to be in St. Louis if it wasn't for Robert Kraft. But the Sullivans, the fact that they own this team, putting that money together, scraping it together to make it happen, and they had success. And you think about what would have happened, what this team would have been if it wasn't for the Jacksons.
Yeah, right.
The Jackson tour, right? That was
His hair caught on fire in a Pepsi commercial.
yeah.
They canceled everything.
Yep. So hey guys, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a break. We're gonna maybe we'll come back and we're gonna talk about some interesting facts. Maybe Bob can bring up some interesting facts that we may not know about the Patriots. And we're gonna talk more about the book and just talk about the upcoming season too. So, but if it's the beginning of a game and it's kickoff, you know what we're playing. We're playing a little For Those About to Rock. And that is For Those About to Rock. We salute you, AC/DC, and you know what we're talking about. We're talking about Patriots, one of the best intros right before kickoff. They play that at Gillette Stadium. The Razor.
Razor.
It's incredible, incredible. You think about what the stadium was before. And by the way, everybody, I'm hanging out with Bob Hyldburg, author of Total Patriots, and the full title is Total Patriots, and it's what the definitive encyclopedia of the world-class franchise. And as he mentioned earlier, forwarded by Gino Cappelletti. Just absolute great having you in studio, Bob.
Thank you.
We were just talking off air, but I do want to talk about this because I think there's a lot of Patriots fans, a lot of hardcore fans, whether it's, you wanted to get there and see them in the Super Bowl, you haven't been able to, and you were just telling me that, a lot of your experiences have been like watching the game at home, but got to bring up that story that you were talking off air about the Super Bowl in New Orleans. You had some guys that you knew, whether it was through work or whatever, they
Correct,
wanted to,
yep.
let's get in a van and go down to New Orleans.
So, I mean,
That's a long drive.
yeah.
With like guys, we
We got,
sound like they were wild guys too. A little wild?
they were, when you're in your 20s, anything goes. So we have these 2 miracle games, and we're on to the Super Bowl, and everyone's like, oh my God, we got to go. And I'm about 20 years older than more than half the people that I work with back then, and they decide they're going to get an RV, and about 10 or 15 of them are going to drive all the way to New Orleans, and they're going to hang out there. And I was like, I don't know if I want to hang out with you guys for 5 days to drive down there and drive back. So I talked myself out of it. Well, they do that. They drive down there, and then they buy tickets, and they had holograms on the tickets back then, and they didn't realize that their ticket didn't have holograms. So when they went to get into the stadium, sorry, these are no good. They bought wrong, fraudulent tickets.
That was unfortunately the scams, man.
So they're staying in a hotel, and the taxi driver that just dropped them off in front of the stadium sees all these people coming back and says, what happened? He says, these don't work. And they said, oh, my God, you brought fraudulent tickets probably off the street. Yes, we did. He says, yeah, but I know something. Us cab drivers know what's going on in this town. The Patriots, if you're Patriots fans, they're going to be at the Fairmont Hotel. Let me take you there. I'll put you guys in there, and you guys will be in the ballroom, and you can watch the game on the TV there. And, of course, the Patriots win. And where do they all go? To the Fairmont Hotel. And all my buddies and friends are like, we're at the Fairmont Hotel. Oh, there's the Vinatieri. And there's...
We partied with the Patriots
and all these people.
after
and
the greatest game in Patriots history.
Miracle of all miracles. And then...
would you put that at number one? Your greatest Patriots win of all time?
I was stunned. Knowing Gil Santos and Gino and knowing all the guys from the 60s and 70s, and we finally won.
Now, you remember they had played them earlier that year and lost.
Yes.
They had played the St. Louis Rams at home, and they had lost.
But it was a
They
competitive
played pretty
game.
tough.
They played them tough.
17.
They ran the clock out on them.
Yeah.
So I looked at that game, and it wasn't out of the. And the way the Patriots were playing, they were never out of a game. The way they kept the offense, the way they
Right.
could run the ball. But if you had to tell me, just the way that whole game ended and how Tom Brady's drive, I still can hear John Madden. Someone had I just shared it. Someone shared it, and I believe you might have. Is John Madden at first when he talks about that drive on TV?
Right.
How he's like, I don't think this is a good idea if these guys should hold the ball and go to overtime.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, that they'll dump offs to Redmond.
Right.
Right, that changed everything.
And he's like, wait a
minute.
minute. He goes, now I kind of like what they're doing.
And then for Troy Brown to catch it, run across and then go out of bounds.
Just smart football.
And then Jermaine Wiggins gets another 5 yards, whatever. Always open. Throw it to me. I'll get it. And then Jerry Thornton talks about this. He says, so Tom Brady just, you want to down the ball, and he just bounces the ball like it's a basketball, and it pops right up in his hand. Try it doing that, and try to bounce a football and have it just come up. And he's like, he was the coolest guy ever. I'm bouncing the football. It's going to land up here like it's a magician that attached my hand. Here you go, ref. We're going to kick the game-winning field goal.
Yep.
Just everyone was cool. Adam said this is not a piece of cake, and everything was perfect. It's right down the middle, and it's like, oh my God, just
No weather involved.
No.
He can make a game winner in the snow or send a game to overtime in the snow.
Yes.
Blizzard, that one's a piece of cake.
we were
So
destined.
let's talk about it. I mean, there have been some great days with the Patriots, but we were just talking as well off air about some tough days. And the
Yep.
Patriots have had being a winner, being on top. They've had some incredible success, the dynasty, but there were some tough losses. Obviously, those Giants were our kryptonite.
Right.
But let's talk about your book, because how long did it take to put this book together?
So, 94, I started my research trying to find the uniform number of every player, and going to the New England Sports Museum, the Boston Public Library, and then the Patriots, and getting notes from all these former statisticians of the team. So I figured I put about 20 hours a week in for about 20 years. So it's about 20,000 hours of research
Into that book.
about everything that I wanted to know about everything that I wanted to know. And as I'm looking up stuff in
Look
the
at
Boston
that
Public
book, Luke.
Library about an onside kick recovery. I'm thinking, some 17-year-old girl might want to know this, And many years later, I do a book signing in Marblehead, and there's a 17-year-old girl walking in with her parents. And I'm like, this is unreal. And she says, can I have, and she's all nervous. I says, why? She says, I want to know more than the boys. I want to become a sportscaster. This is the reason I'm buying the book.
Wow.
And I'm thinking myself, I was thinking of you when on a Tuesday, like in 2004, after they.
There must have been some days, Bob. I mean, I swear to
like,
God, you must have been like, man,
why am I doing
when
this?
will this end? Like, what did I do? What did I get myself into? I can't. And once you're halfway in or a third in, it's like.
I missed. There was the 60s. There was a couple of years. I didn't know where to get the information. Like from 63 to 65. I said, I can't do a book with 2 years missing.
Yeah.
So, but I had to keep digging and digging. And then the other story I have is that not only is a 17-year-old girl, but maybe a 70 or 80-year-old guy. And my sister's friend had a book cafe in Lake Winnipesaukee. Invites me up, my wife, and say, come on up here, we'll do a little thing at a cafe. There's like 3 people there, Lake Winnipesaukee. But one of them
I was going to say, who's the one person that was
drove from Maine. He heard me at a Maine radio station. He drove 2.5 hours in a beat-up old pickup truck. And he sits down, and we talk for an hour and a half about Gino Cappelletti and Joe Bellino and Larry Ott in the 60s and the Boston Patriots at Fenway Park. And I was like, Fred, you're the other guy that I was thinking of. Some 80-year-old guy wants to reminisce about the games in the 60s. I wasn't there, but I interviewed all the players, and I wrote all about those games, those few years that I was missing. I had it by then. And I was like, wow, all of that pays off.
Well, we talked about, too, you were mentioning the almost perfect season. The almost perfect season. Yeah. I had a chance to go to the Meadowlands, and I saw them play the Giants. And I was telling you off air where we were literally saying, I was telling these guys that were next to me, these Giants fans, said, we'll probably be seeing you in a few weeks in the Super Bowl.
Right.
I didn't want to, but because I was like, this team is tough. They were getting at the quarterback. They had talent. I didn't know if Eli could do it, but jeez,
Yeah.
Some luck
they
involved.
did. Yeah, there was some lucky, some helmet catches.
Yeah.
But you were talking about how in the book you had just finished the book. It was set to be published.
It was amazing.
And you had a setback.
So in 2006, 5 and 6, the Boston Globe got involved with some of the stuff that I was doing. And Nick Cafado hooked me up with this company called Triumph Books out of Chicago. They found out that I had I sent them 1,100 pages of information about where are they now, their college career and all that. And they said, let's get rid of this and this and this, but let's see if we can get down to about 600 pages. And then I had a whole bunch of football cards, about 400 football cards. So it ended up with the football cards and the pictures from the Globe of 802 pages. So they said, all right, we got to edit this. We got to put it in different chapters. And I'm working for the Patriots. Stacey James actually called me and said, we need someone serious about stats. So in 2005, I started working for the NFL, but in the Patriots press room, either as a photographer or analyzing plays. And I was there for 15 years.
Excellent.
So the Patriots, Triumph Books finds out about that and says...
That's a pretty awesome story, Bob. I don't want to just bypass that, to have your passion meet like an opportunity like that.
Opportunity to be there and to be in the press room and to see and get paid to do it.
Great years, too.
Oh,
Great years.
Lordy. I took advantage of that, And as a matter of fact, I was talking the other day. Zolak was talking last night, and she said, did you ever meet Zolak? I said, yeah. I was going out promoting my book before it even came out. And then I'm on the field because I have all access press in 2007 and 6 and 8 and 9 and 10. And Zolak says, Bob, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm writing this book and I got an all access pass. So I'm on the field. And he's like, I can't believe that you're here, So he's always razzed me like, you don't work for a newspaper. You don't work for this one. You're just an author that's doing something. So anyways. So I get the advance. I'm editing the book. I'm going to every Patriots game, 12 hours I'm there. And it's ready to go. It's 12-0, it's 16-0, it's 18-0.
Let's go, baby.
We got 60 people in our house. We're winning the game. We're not winning the game. We lost the game.
We're like 2 minutes away.
It's like, and I was just like, man, this game is not giving me a good feeling.
Oh, my God. So I just, as soon as the
Yeah.
game's over, I went to the TV, I clicked it, and I turned around, and I was in shock, and I said, thanks for coming, get out.
Yeah.
And they all
Yeah.
left, and then I had 60 people, and they're parking their cars, and I was
You were a little upset.
I was stunned as beyond.
Yeah,
I
man,
mean,
my son
and my
was-
wife has no idea about football.
Yeah.
She has no idea about the passion of football and why I'm so excited. And she really wanted to, to get divorced because I hadn't seen her in a year and a half. I'm working full time. We got kids. We got dogs. I get home at 7 o'clock at night. I eat supper. I'm on the computer
Yeah.
pretty much
you put a
every
lot of,
single day for
lot
a
of
year and a
love
half.
into this Patriots book.
So
yeah.
she's a football widow. So what saved my marriage, I mean, we're together 36 years, but really what clicked is Malcolm Butler. So Malcolm Butler makes that interception, beats Seattle, and I told her, I says, she says, how do they know where to go and how do they catch the ball? And she thought it was all random. And I says, they practiced that play.
They scouted that.
Right.
So I took her to one of my speaking engagements, and I said, we got people on the stage, and I says, all right, you're Brandon Browner, and you're
Malcolm Butler.
Malcolm Butler, and you have to get there, you have to turn your shoulders, you have to catch the ball. And he only had two of the four straps on, and the helmet doesn't come off because it should have.
I
With the
know.
collision.
I know. I saw that. I was wondering that. So he wasn't even strapped
He
up.
didn't have all four of them strapped on.
He ran on the field late.
He ran.
Yeah.
That's right. He ran on the field late. That's right.
It was like a last minute
They called
substitution.
it. Yeah, they made the call. I forget
Yep.
what the call was.
Malcolm,
but,
go.
Yep. It was called The play was called Malcolm,
Malcolm Go.
Malcolm Go.
So
Yeah.
she realizes that they practice this, and there's the angle of the shoulder, and the where your head is, and where your feet are.
Well, we got to give credit to the guy who built those scout plays up at Ernie Adams.
Absolutely.
Ernie, who is now the head football coach at Phillips Andover,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
incredible.
I talked to Ernie over the summer.
Which is incredible.
So
Ernie's
she finally understood the passion and the technique and all that stuff. And a couple days after that Super Bowl, I'm upstairs and she calls and says, "What's the ES something station? I want to see that Malcolm play again." I said, "ESPN, yeah, that's it." And she was actually watching the play by herself. And as I finally hooked her, it took me 30 years to understand the passion of football.
Wow.
But the book came out in 2009.
How
with
did the book?
merger.
So yeah, I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So the book didn't initially come out. The Giants lost, kind of set the book
Yep.
back a little bit. The loss to the Giants set the book back a little bit. But how did the book eventually come out?
I mean, so it was ready to go anytime you wanted to.
Did they publish the same company? Or was it a different publisher?
They had everything ready to go, and they said, "Well, the whole history of the 50th anniversary of the leagues
That's what it
merging."
was. Okay.
So it was 50th NFL, and they said, "Hey, let's put that out as a promotion. Hey, this is the 50th anniversary."
So they
of the
didn't
team.
tell you at the time they weren't going to put it out. They just said we're going to delay the put out.
Well, we were hoping 2010 maybe. If they didn't go in 2009, probably. But then they lost to the Jets, and that wouldn't have helped.
Can't wait.
But we did it at the 50th anniversary of the AFL and the NFL.
Yeah.
And then it was everywhere. It was.
Yep.
I got on ESPN. I was on Nesson, and and did
Yeah.
all kind of radio
Yeah.
shows and book signings.
Now,
and all kind of
obviously,
stuff, so.
time has gone by. Has
Yeah.
there been a thought of doing a updated version of the book, or are you? What is going on with that?
So in 2016, Bill Lenkaitis passes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at the funeral, and Brian Morey, the executive director of the Patriots Hall of Fame, comes up to me and says, "We've got this book. It's on display at the Patriots Hall of Fame. It's behind glass. It was there for 15 years." He says, "But is there any way you can take this information and put it in a computer, and then we can put it in a display at the Patriots, and you say, all right, you want to go there? Show me every quarterback that won number 12. Show me everyone
Wow.
that went to Michigan, and have all these categories." So I put together 168 different categories of stats for 1,450 players.
Wow.
And all the detail about every single one: height, weight, their play, if they caught the ball, touched the ball, whatever they did. And I sent it to Brian, and Brian said, "All right, we'll put it in the display." And in the process of putting that in my computer, I came up with a book called Relive Patriots History that came out in 2020. So it's a little more detailed, and it has mostly information about every single player and the highlights of their career. And it's in the Patriots Hall of Fame in their display now. And
That's
then I have
great.
a book that came out in 2020.
That's great. Guys, we're talking with Bob Hyldburg. We're the Patriots historian. You know what we're going to do is we're going to play a couple songs, Patriots, of course, and then we're going to come back and maybe talk about some interesting stats, maybe some interesting history, things maybe you don't know, but we'll pull from Bob while he's here. You're listening to the All In Sports Huddle. We can't do. Speaking of Scott Zolak, you know what Scott likes? He likes himself a little Josie. It's called Your Love, the outfield. The Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace. But man, we were just talking. Bob was on TV during that performance. You want to talk about that?
So it's my first day working for the first regular season
So this
game.
is the day. This is the first game you get hired by the NFL
to be
do it-
in their stat room and be part of what they call player participation staff. So the part of what I was doing was taking pictures of every single player of every single game from the third level in the south end zone where the banners were.
Okay.
So I was a photographer for a few years. So I'm out there with my tripod, and I'm standing there, and Ozzy's going nuts. The place is going nuts. And Robert Kraft said, "All right, everyone look to the south end zone." As you look at the south end zone, they had the 2001 banner, the 2003 banner, and then behind the NFL banner was the 2004 World Championship banner. So the NFL is just the big NFL letters, and they start pulling it up. And as they pull it up, you can see now it's the 2005 World Champs.
Yes.
And I'm standing there with my white shirt, and there's 60,000 people on the TV, and I'm waving to people. How you doing, people? How you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm the only one there because I'm in third level. There's no seats there. It's just kind of a walkway. And if you see all the videos, you see the picture in the Globe, the picture in the Herald of the World Champs, and I'm standing with my arms spread out in a white shirt. And then after it's over, I get a phone call. My sister said, "You were just on TV. I think that's where you said you were going to be standing." Yeah, that's me.
That's awesome, man.
And
Guys, we're talking with Bob Hyldburg, the Patriots historian, the author of 2 books, the author of Relive Patriots History that came out in 2020.
Correct.
And Total Patriots, and the full frame. It's the
definitive.
definitive encyclopedia. I can't read it. What is it?
Of the world-class franchise.
Yes,
Good thing
absolutely.
they didn't put down world because we've won 6 times. This had the first 3, and then this one completes all 6. So
Yep.
this is the 6th time
Yep.
world champs.
And hopefully we'll get more. We finished just short last year, but hey, this team's exciting again. We got a great quarterback in Drake May.
Absolutely.
I feel that with everything going on, it's going to be a tough schedule, no doubt. They open up in Seattle. I think they make shock the world, but we'll see. Bob, you were just telling some great stories. I mean, we were talking off air. My father was an original season ticket holder, as I mentioned, Fenway
Yep.
Park. We talked about this, but we got to talk about some of these stories, man. You mentioned Nickerson Field, but we can't go any further without talking about how the game that they burnt down the bleachers.
So it was August 1970. So just to give you a little highlight, so they
Mook's laughing, but it really did happen, Mook. They burnt the bleachers down.
when we became the Boston Patriots in February of 1960, and we had a contest to name it. It was either the Boston Minutemen or Boston Patriots. We became the Boston Patriots. We don't have a place to play. So they ended up signing a deal with Boston University, and they played at Boston University for a couple of years. And then they moved to Fenway Park. Then they played at Boston College.
And this
in
is the sad part, though, is
1969.
this is a professional team that has no home. Like, they're
Right.
basically, they're wandering souls, like my friend's beer company, Wandering Soul. These guys are wandering from stadium to stadium. Not a real place to call their home. Throughout the 60s, throughout
Right.
those first 10 years in the AFL, where
So-
other teams are growing and getting, nice stadiums being built. But go ahead, you were talking
Yeah,
Nickerson
so the
Field.
Red Sox, they in '67, the Red Sox are in the World Series.
Right,
We
right.
had to reschedule our games.
They're like, hey, listen, we're not letting you guys tear up this field.
That's right. So the first couple of games of the '67 season and '68 season, they had to play away from Boston. until the Red Sox was over. So in '68, the Red Sox says, you're out of here. So where do we play? They play at Boston College, Alumni Stadium in '69. And then in August of 1970.
I can imagine just the people that live over there that complain about the BC games. I don't even know how they got the games in over there. Those people must have hated those people over there. Oh,
Well,
think about these guys. Listen, man, the Patriots fans, back in the 60s, and listen, there was a bunch of guys, and they were probably drinking quite a few beers.
oh, yeah.
They were wild. They was
Well,
wild.
there was one major fan that lived not far from BU and Boston College, and after the game, most of the Patriots players would go to this guy's house and party at this guy's house.
That's
It
awesome.
was like, come on over. Yeah, they had a big backyard, and they partied. So some of the fans loved it. Come on over here. And
So it'll be a big party after the
big
games.
party after the game. Don't go to the bars. Just
Post-game
don't go
party,
home, come
post-game
back.
party at my house.
It's 2
That's
miles
awesome.
from here. So
That ain't happening now, but it
No.
was happening back then.
it was happening with Larry
Love it.
Eisenhower and all those guys. So,
Love it.
So August of 1970, it's an exhibition game against the Washington Redskins. We
Not even
talked to
a
them that they were initially the Boston Redskins. And they had just painted the wooden bleachers a couple days beforehand. So if you ever been around paint, sometimes there's a little bit of a aroma. There's still some things that are just kind
Oh,
of sealing.
yeah,
And there's a
yeah.
smell.
Yeah.
It's almost like a gasoline kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there is a popcorn machine underneath the stands.
Oh, no.
So the popcorn machine either had a little spark or someone threw a cigarette next to the popcorn machine, and the aroma of
Right.
of the paint ignited
Whoa.
something and started burning this paint that caused this huge billow of smoke. So with the paint and the wood and the stink and the oils from the popcorn machine, next thing you know, this huge billow of smoke like we just saw from Canada that just hung around us for a week or two,
Yeah.
covered the whole field. The wind blow, and next thing you can't see your hand. This huge black smoke is just. So they stopped the game for like a half an hour. The fans walked on the stands, and they're in the field, and they're talking to the players.
Well, I'm literally saying to myself,
Because half the bleachers are on fire.
The
and
bleachers
smoke.
are on fire, right? The bleachers are on fire. And
And you can't put it out because it's just smoke.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they put the fire out, but the smoke was just hanging there. And,
meanwhile, the bleachers are half burnt down now.
yeah. So that was crazy.
And the Patriots were basically told, hey, I know you were supposed to be here for the rest of the season, but you're out now.
So they kick them out. So now
Some
we need a
places
place
might
to
think they're
play.
inciting the riot.
Don't have to go home, but can't stay here.
So Harvard says, all right, we'll take you. So it's September 20th, 1970. The greatest story ever. So have you ever seen the movie Rudy? Rudy, the Notre Dame
Yes,
movie?
love
right?
the movie. Love
All
the
right.
movie.
So in 1966, Notre Dame is the champs, right? And Bob Collaggio scores the game-tying touchdown against Michigan State and Bubba Smith, and because they had a tie, they ended up winning the championship. So Bob Collaggio is a huge hero at Notre Dame. He gets drafted by the Patriots, and he plays a couple years for the Patriots as a special teams player. And 2 days before the opening day of 1970, he gets cut off the team. Now, he's got a bunch of followers because he's a crazy guy, and he looks like Hoppo Marx. They call him Hoppo. And it's sold out. It's Don Shula's first game as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. So there's a whole buzz about that.
Yeah, which always had Miami Dolphins fans always came out to the Patriots games,
Yeah.
which kind of ticked me off.
So it's opening day. Bob Collaggio gets cut on Friday. He's hanging out with his buddies in the parking lot. He's drinking Schlitz beer. He's having port wine. He's probably having a smoke or two of some stuff. And he decides that he wants to get into the game. He doesn't have a ticket, so he talks his way in. And he says, hey, I played on the team. The guy's like, there's no seats anyways. It's just cement. If you can get in.
Yeah.
So he gets separated from his buddies. His buddies are already in. He walks into the stadium, and as he walks in, it's about 20 minutes before game time, the coaches are on the field, and Harvard is right there. I mean, you can see the players. And as he walks in, he sees all the coaches, and he's 2 sheets to the wind. He is completely happy. And he ducks down underneath, and they said, what am I going to do now? Once the game starts, I can probably kind of merge into the crowd. And all of a sudden, he hears the owner of the team on the intercom. Hello, this is Billy Sullivan, the owner of the team. We're trying to get a hold of Bob Gladio. If he's here, because we can't reach him on the phone, if he's here, please report to the locker room. And he's like, is my ears deceiving me? You get a bonus if you show up and you play in the first game, and they cut me, so I'm kind of mad that they didn't give me a bonus. I didn't make the opening roster. He goes down there, and they say, yeah, we cut John Charles off the team. He wanted to renegotiate. We cleaned out his locker. We have all your stuff. Sign a contract, put it on. You're on the opening play. You're on the kickoff. Get out there. He has no time to do any exercises to warm up.
I mean, the guy's cocked.
He's on the field.
And the guy's cocked.
And
I mean, he's probably under the influence.
Yes, in more ways than one. So his idea was like, all right, stay in your lane, go half speed, run off the field, no one will even know. Well, Jake Scott gets the ball, follows his blockers, sees an open area, starts running to this open area. Bob Gladio was running sideways to go off the field. They collide. Bob Gladio makes the tackle.
That's amazing.
So here's Jake Scott to the 30, boom, he runs into number 24.
Did he knowingly make the tackle? It's just
They had to look him up.
just a
24.
collision?
Oh, that's Bob Gladio. He was what's he doing on the field? He's not in the program. No
These
one-
guys that were partying with him are going, how the heck is he on the
Where's he on
field?
the field?
He was just tailgating with us. Oh, that's awesome.
He makes the tackle. He makes another special teams tackle later in the game. He throws up, but he plays for the team for 2 more years. Becomes a star in Life magazine. They do a Life magazine. And in the movie Rudy, they actually mention his name in the restaurant scene. They say, hey, that's Bob Gladio over there.
They do in the
They
movie?
mentioned Bob Gladio's name because he knew
Wow.
people because they filmed at Notre Dame. He went back to Notre Dame but became a star, set up a business out there. So he was connected
That's
by
very
then.
cool, yeah. That's a great story.
But the drunk in the stands makes the tackle and makes the team, plays 2 more years.
No, that's an incredible story, and these are the stories, folks.
Yeah.
That if you get the books, because these books are still available, right?
Oh, yeah, you can get them at Amazon.
Amazon, you can go order. Is that where you would generally
Yeah,
recommend
that's where
people
you
to
get them now.
go to Amazon?
Amazon,
Yeah. Are they available in paperback like that, or well, I guess that.
Yeah, this one's the second
paperback,
one.
and then
Relive
that's
is
a hard. Then
paperback
that's a
and
hard copy. Yep.
10, $15. Not a big deal.
And in the book, in the Total Patriots book, you have how many cards do you have
There's
in the
about
book?
400 football cards. So I started collecting football cards as I did baseball cards. And I sent it to the publisher, and he said, oh, man, can you do a little bio for all these? Yes, I can. And that was a whole chapter in itself with having all these football cards from the 60s all the way up to Tom Brady and stuff. So the other interesting game was in 1961, September 3rd, 1961, at BU Field. And 5,000 people showed up, and they didn't know where to put them because they had sold every ticket. So they said, stand around and watch it from the infield. So there were people 6, 7 deep all the way around the whole field. Pretty cool to be on the field to watch the game.
Yeah.
And back then, they didn't have a digital clock. There was 3 seconds left. They just had one hand.
Mm-hmm.
So we're winning the game 28-21. The Dallas Texans, who
are now the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hank Stram was their coach back in the Dallas Texans. Cotton Davidson throws his long pass to Chris Burford. He runs out about the 2-yard line. And everyone in the
Think the game's over.
thinks the game's over, so they crowd the field. And the ref says, nope, one more play. So how do you get like 500 people off? Well, there's a guy in the end zone, and there's a film of this. Every time when the Patriots played the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night and stuff, they would show the crazy fan on the field. It's about 30 seconds. This 40-year-old guy with a trench coat, he's in the end zone. He goes back, and he never actually leaves the field. And he gets behind the referee, the middle linebacker referee, and realizes that he can't see me. So I'll sneak past him. So he goes back, and as they're lining up for the one more play in the 2-yard line, he lines back, he sneaks past the referee, he moves over to an empty spot, like the middle linebacker position, and they're just going to do a quick slant pass, and he's right in that lane. Quarterback goes by, he's going to throw it, and he sees a 40-year-old guy with his hands waving. He throws it over his head. We win the game.
Wow.
And Hank Stram was filming. It wasn't on national TV. And the next day, his quarterback and his receiver said, there was a guy in the field. What are you talking about? They showed the film, and I was like, yep. And they appealed. They said, what are we going to play the game again? No. So we've been the cheaters. We had fans help us win games since 1961.
Well before Deflategate. Well before Deflategate.
There you go.
Bob, this has been so much fun, man. It's been such a great time talking with you. You know, the love and the passion that you have for this team is infectious. I appreciate you coming in.
This is great.
For people that want to know more about, you know, you and in where can they go? I know you're very active on social media, right? You're on Facebook. What do you do the regular season's coming? Do you do anything special? Are you going to have any events coming up, or what are you going to be doing for the Patriots season?
So one of the things that I've learned, meeting hundreds of players and coaches and Raymond Berry and all these guys, Brady, Belichick, is to understand the mindset of what it takes to become a champion.
Yes.
And the practice and the relentlessness
Right.
of Julian Edelman.
Which is your business now, right?
So,
right. Talk about that, yeah.
So I tell people, if you have a dream and you're 9 years old or you're 15 years old and you wanted to do something and now you're 50 and 60 or you're going through a transition in life and I don't think I can do it and how am I going to do? Don't think of the how, just think of just doing. Mm-hmm. So I talk to people about dreaming and imagining and visualizing and saying, you need someone to help you support that, someone to pull you through as a coach, as a mentor. You're 17, you want to learn how to become a reporter. I know people in that world, you know, the John Rooks and the Jimmy Youngs, that kind of stuff. You want to become a writer, you want to be a hairdresser, anything you want to do, if you are obsessed with it and you think about it every day. I thought about this book for every day for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's for 10 minutes, I'm sitting in traffic. Oh, man, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to finish this. I got to complete that. Just finish one thing. I would spend 1 month just looking up onside kick recoveries until I got them all, because there was 13 of them, and it paid off. The Patriots are playing the Cleveland Browns, and we're losing the game. Amendola catches a touchdown pass. Now we got to recover the onside kick. And the Patriots, I'm in the press room, and they're like, when was the last time the Patriots recovered an onside kick and then won the game? And I said, well, that only happened once in 1964 when Gino Cappelletti did an onside kick and we recovered it and we won the game. That's the only other time. Yeah, because I looked it up, you know.
Yeah, those are
Those are
and they've done it since then.
Those are the stats you. Those are the things you rattle off during the broadcast when you know things aren't, you know, it's like a dead time.
Well, you need Bob the stat. You need Bob the stat man. You know, if you have Bob the stat man, you're going to be all right.
So who's the first person to convert a 2-point conversion?
Well, Gino Cappelletti did it. He was the place kicker, but sometimes they hiked it to him and he ran for 2 points. And then the interesting thing about
well, they took the 2 points away. They had it at first, and then the NFL they stopped it for a while. But I'm glad they brought it back.
With, you know,
but
Drew Bledsoe was the first time that they actually had two-point conversions in a game against the Baltimore Ravens. He threw a pass to Ben Coates. So there's been a couple times, and then in the Super Bowl we got two-point conversions to beat the Falcons. So we needed both of them. So
thank God
only
we
happened once before that.
Thank God we
Bledsoe.
had that 2-point back. You did
In that game, they converted two-point conversions, right?
They did.
Yes,
How many times has that happened in the Super Bowl, if you know?
Never. It's never happened.
That's
in the
never
Super Bowl.
happened.
A lot of things had to happen for that
So
game.
with Adam Vinatieri just getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, there was a game they played against the Buffalo Bills, and it was a controversial play that allowed the Patriots to score a touchdown. And Buffalo wanted to say that's not fair. So when they went to kick the extra point, Buffalo wasn't on the field. They rebelled. They left the field. The game's over.
And they they did the 2-point conversion.
So they
ran it in.
So Vinatieri says
he just ran it in.
Called his own
to
number?
Ken Walker, he says, when you get the snap, you hand it to me. And he's like, no, we're not kicking it. So Vinatieri says, no, you give it to me. And he ran it in because there was no one to stop him. So Vinatieri
that's funny.
is a guy that threw a touchdown pass to Troy Brown and ran for a 2-point conversion and punted and kicked off and kicked field goals. So
I do know
things like that.
Actually, do you know Mook? do you know that there was a guy not too well, probably 20 years ago now, a drop kick.
Doug Flutie. I watched
Doug
that
Flutie.
game.
How many
watched
drop
that game.
kicks?
I watched that game.
How many drop kicks have there been in the Patriots
Never.
history?
Well, so here's the story. So I live in Woburn, and I'm doing a story about the drop kick. And the reason I'm doing it in Woburn is because the guy that did it before then was in 1941. He was the Woburn High School football coach during the week. And he would take a train on Friday to go in Chicago and play in professional football on Saturday and then come home Sunday and be the coach.
Wow.
So this Ray Scooter McLean was the last guy to do it before Doug Flutie. And
He was a Woburn High School.
he was a Woburn High School football coach during the week, but he was the kicker for the Philadelphia Eagles in
Incredible.
1941. So I'm telling the story, and there's a guy in the crowd said, "Yeah, I knew Ray McLean." And so
incredible.
You don't know who this is all about, but you got Flutie from Natick kicking it, and then you got
Another
guy
one from
Woburn.
Woburn. That's incredible.
Don't go to trivia nights with Bob.
No. I want to go with Bob.
Well, don't go against
Bob.
him because he might win it all. He might win.
Honestly, Bob, I think that would be awesome, man. Doing a Patriots trivia night like with you, man. Have you done that before? Have you done Patriots
So
trivia?
here's the story about that. So ESPN come out with a new radio, Mike Felger and all that kind of stuff, and then they had Sporting News Radio. They had some new radio shows that popped up over the last 15 to 20 years.
Yep.
And I would call, and they would ask trivia questions, and I would get them all right. They had no idea. This is before the book, so there were times they were giving away like skiing tickets and facials and stuff. So they knew me. So the answer to this question was Troy Brown. I put my wife on the phone. So, we got Millie on the phone. You know the answer to the question? Yeah, Troy Brown.
That's
awesome. Terrific. What do you know about Troy Brown? I know nothing about football. I just wanted to win the facial. Thank you. Bye.
That's
She
so
said, don't
awesome.
put me on the phone ever again. They got a woman calling them sports radio. They wanted to talk to her. She said, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to win it.
That's awesome. Oh, man,
Still
that's so
laugh
good.
about that.
All right. Well, hey, listen, guys. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna wrap up this. We're gonna wrap up the segment. But again, Bob, you're on Facebook. Where's the best place to find you for people?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, just Bob Hyldburg. It's kind of a different last name, HYLD.
BURG.
B-U-R-G, Hyldburg. Facebook, Why We Love Boston is my Facebook group. I'm on most of the Patriots Facebook groups.
Yes, you are. I know
Social
that.
media, just Bob Hyldburg, B Hyldburg on Twitter. So YouTube, Bob Hyldburg.
Well, Bob, you know what? We'll have to have you back. You know,
Yeah,
the
especially during the season.
As the season goes, we'll have
Love
to have
to.
you come. We'll have to have you come in.
Him and Paulie G will have make a good segment.
Yeah. I'd love to have Paulie G on with him. Paulie's my old friend from he coached with Nick Saban in Alabama.
Oh, wow.
And Paul is from Wakefield, and he lives in Tampa. But he's a great guy. But you know what we're gonna do, Bob? Thanks again for coming in. We're gonna wrap up the show, but we got to finish it off with you know what's really cool is John Bon Jovi. I know that he liked Bill Belichick, but he's still hanging out, going to all the games.
Yep.
And this song right here is our song. I don't care. I know these guys are from New Jersey, but this song is our song because this is our house. Drake May. Yes, we had to play that song. We're excited about Drake May. We haven't seen him much in the preseason, but that's kind of to be expected. Very rarely these days do you find players of his caliber playing in the preseason. Gone are the days of the preseason being a It's wild, you know. Like I'm here with Bob still. Bob's hanging out with us till the end of the show. We're about ready to wrap it up here in a few minutes. But you know, the preseason. I remember when guys would play a considerable amount of time.
They used to have 6 preseason
I mean,
games.
thank God they don't have that many.
Lordy.
But yeah, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, now it's down to 3, and even those 3, if you're a starter, you might get 1 drive. Like I was
Right.
watching the Jets game the other night. They had Geno playing, and he played like 1 drive, and it was a nice drive for them. I mean, but it's crazy to me. Back in a few years ago, I'd say it's changed significantly over the last 10 years.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's so
But-
many injuries too, and the CTE
Well,
issue and all that.
Yeah, contact.
And
Yeah,
there's less preseason, one less preseason game.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
But-
kind of like practice is kind of their tune-up and
practices
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
two. They do those competition days where they play the other teams in practice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I still think it's funny how the season ticket holders have to pay for those preseason games. I was a season ticket holder. I don't pay for my whole season anymore. But I think that's a scam.
Yeah, they were
Season
giving
ticket holders have to pay for that.
$20,
You know,
$30. You know, my
That-
buddy sold them for Ticketmaster for $30.
I mean, you're losing money every time if
Yeah.
you give them away. Most of the
Right.
time, you're not. If you have preseason tickets, you're either going or you're giving them to somebody.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because and I don't know if any other sport they make you pay for the preseason games. Maybe they do. So guys, we're about to wrap up the show. Mook, I know you've got a lot going on. You were at Chico's.
Yeah, I
It
was
was
at
good.
Chico's.
It was good over there yesterday. They got outside.
Yeah.
Good thing they went under the roof. The weather wasn't like today, but
yeah, it didn't rain yesterday.
but they had a little bit of rain.
It was just cold. It was
Oh,
just
okay.
cold
Oh, it
yesterday.
didn't rain in Lawrence. It
Nah,
rained.
it didn't rain yesterday.
It rained in other parts of the parts of the land.
Might have drizzled a little, but not really.
Yeah.
Right. They gave away backpacks.
Yes, they did their
food.
backpack
They
giveaways.
They gave free haircuts. It was like a cookout. Gave free
Nice.
food. It was
Good food.
some barbecue. Some burgers, hot dogs, all that good stuff. They had the food trucks out there.
That's great.
They all lined
Yeah.
up
Well,
out
shout out
there.
to Joshua and what the guys are doing over there. All the guys at Chico's and anything in particular. Any standout moments? Anything you want to bring up?
From yesterday.
Yeah, just from the overall.
Oh,
Yeah, it was good they were outside finally.
Yeah, it was good. They was outside. They saw the environment. There was a good amount of people out there, just out there.
Good
supporting.
vibe.
Yeah.
Nothing. No real issues.
No issues.
Good. Yeah.
I think they were rewarded $50,000 too, as well. They gave
Nice.
them a check. I think like one of the senators or something like that, or state reps.
No,
out there
nice.
gave him a check. I'll post that picture later.
Yeah,
But,
please do. Yeah, absolutely.
they
Make
gave-
sure you tag us. Yeah, I love that, man.
Yeah, so there was that. Then Friday I was over there in Dorchester. Jalen Hunter Coleman.
You son, Coach U Coleman's son.
Coleman's son.
Is Coach Coleman still at Charlestown?
Yes, he's still at Charlestown, and they have a really good team coming back this year.
Yeah, they got that
They
young.
got everybody.
They got that young man, that guard that can get buckets.
Jerry Brown.
They
got
should
him.
call him Buckets. Jerry
Yeah.
Buckets.
Yeah, I think he is. They got a good team coming back, but yeah, he committed. I think he left for California today.
Wow, that's a whirlwind, huh?
Yeah.
So they had an opportunity for him. So he was
Yeah.
going to. He was in the 27 class.
Yeah.
But because of his situation, he was able to have it. He had enough
he
credits to go.
He had enough credits, and also from what one of the assistant coaches, his cousin Paul, was telling me, the San Francisco called and they said they need they need him because I think
Somebody is not coming.
one of their returners is not coming back, and then another one transferred.
Well, some of the other issues
So,
are going in. Some of these NIL deals or some of these deals with the colleges changing their whole 5-year program. Some of these athletes that thought they were going to play, due to their situation where they already played pro ball somewhere else,
Yeah.
Or their age, they got aged out. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so that was good. And this week is camp week, so
Yeah.
I'll be back. I'll be with New England Football Journal this week.
Gonna be hitting some camps.
We're gonna hit some camps tomorrow. I think I'm gonna hit up St. John's Prep and maybe Central Catholic. See what's going on there. So
All
I'm
right,
gonna
man.
Then I'm gonna make my rounds in Lynn. See what those.
Well, I'll
guys
be
coming
following
up.
you on all the social media platforms.
Yeah, and then Friday is I think I'll be at Merrimack College for the season opener against Rhode Island, and then
It's nice to see. This is the last. So this weekend was the last weekend that we didn't have some competitive, not preseason football, regular football. So
Yeah.
football's back starting this weekend.
this week, yep.
So that'll be good.
Yeah.
I hope the boys from Merrimack have a good year. I know it's tough for them not being in the league. So
Yeah, I think this might be their last year not in the league.
I hope
I
so.
think next year they'll
They're
probably
joining?
be- I think so. I can't confirm, but I think maybe next year they'll
Yeah.
be joining the league, and then
what
Saturday.
league would they be joining? What league would they be joining?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, there's not a few. They have a few options. I mean, they're in the MAC for
basketball.
for all the other sports.
Yeah, they might as well join the MAC for football.
They don't have it. They don't have football.
Oh, the MAC.
Yeah,
Was it the MEAC? Is it the MEAC?
No, well, the MEAC's down more mid-Atlantic.
Which
I would
one's-
say
which one's the one
I would say the
UMass
one.
is in?
Well, UMass is in the MAC, but what they should do, honestly, is they should play in the MAC and then they should join the Colonial Athletic, or it's called Coastal Athletic Association
CAA?
for football. Yeah, they need to probably do that. So we'll see what happens.
Or the
But what do you think
or the
about this
Patriot
whole?
League.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about these players that are being said? They essentially are being said by the NCAA, hey, you guys do have an extra year, and they're in NFL camps, and they're basically making a decision. September 1, they're either going to have to, and I can't believe it's all the way up to September 1. If you're
Yeah,
an
this
athlete
is-
right now, you either leave camp or you know what I mean?
This is a mess.
It's crazy.
It's a mess.
I can't believe that there
think once-
are actually players now that had one guy that actually got his eligibility reinstated, had 2 sacks in a preseason game.
And it's going back. I think once you've
Crazy.
I think once you've put on a professional uniform, or once you've been on a professional field and played a professional game or had a professional practice, anything, you can't go back to college.
Yeah.
This is nonsense.
Well,
Like, what are we doing?
It's a circus.
Wow.
It's a circus.
What are we doing? It's going backwards. Your whole goal is to
Yep.
make it to the league, and now
Sideshow.
you're already there, and now you want to go back. Come on now.
Yep.
What are we doing here?
Yep. So, well, again, it's kind of a situation where I just feel like I love the fact that these athletes are getting some money. I mean, the colleges have made money off them for many a year, and now these guys are getting paid in a way, but there's just got to be some better control. So hopefully they can do that. You
Right.
know what I mean? So we'll see what
If
happens.
that's the case, just let me put it in a way where, all right, we have
Yeah.
your rights. We have your rights. You could go back to school, but once you're done, we still have your rights. You can come back like
Yeah.
like the NBA used to do back in
That's
way
true.
back. And they could draft you, but if you want to stay, you stay in school, but we still have your rights.
Yep.
I think hockey does that too. It's hockey and baseball will do that.
Yeah, they'll do that. They'll let you jump in, and if
Yeah.
you don't, as long as you
You're
don't
not
hire
right.
an agent or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, hey, guys, this has been great. Thank you if you're listening live or listening to the replay. I appreciate it. We've been hanging out. Great show, great extended show, and I appreciate Bob for coming in. Bob, you share so much knowledge of the
Yeah.
Patriots, and thank you for the book and the pictures. It's awesome. So we'll see you soon. We'll have you back in.
Oh yeah, I'm also doing. I'll send you my.
Yeah,
link.
talk-
I'm doing a Shot for Life fundraiser for
Okay.
they're having their gauntlet in like October or something.
They're having a
or
shot for
November.
life. Okay.
Yeah, it's like they're gonna do a gauntlet where it's like you gotta play basketball for the whole day or do something.
Oh, cool,
but,
man. Yeah, we'll share that.
I'll send a link because I gotta raise like $2,000 or something.
Oh wow, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's the Shot for Life. It's like is it cancer?
I believe, or ASL or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But
They do some great things. I know.
Yeah.
I'm aware of Shot for Life. Well,
yeah.
definitely, we'll share that.
I'll share that with you and try to get you in contact with the guy that hit me up about it too. I think
Yeah,
he's an
man.
intern over there, so he was the one that was contacting.
Yeah, we'll have
me.
him. Maybe we can have him on the show.
Yeah.
We'll have him come in.
But yeah, I'll share the link, and just if you want to, donate a little something.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, like
Hey man, we'll share it on our place too, man. We'll definitely we'll shout that out. Hey man, we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate you listening in again, Bob. Thanks again for coming in. We'll see you
you.
soon.
Yeah.
Mook, we'll see you next week. We got the guys from Zone coming in,
Yeah.
talking about their picks and their top 15s and all their different classes. We also have some ISL football coming in. We have the head coach and one of his assistants coming in. Vinny Giambracco and I believe Scott Woodward of Middlesex School are going to come in,
Okay.
talk a little bit about their situation over there, and they're looking to grow that program there in down the street. They're right down the street in Concord, so they're probably the closest middle ISL school, NEPSAC school to us.
You need to get Jeff Moore to call in.
Yep. Yeah. We might have to do that soon too.
Yeah.
But hey, we're gonna get into a song. This is a legend here in the 978. I think he's doing a backpack giveaway today. It's Terminology, Paul Wall, DJ Fresh, a little three-peat. We'll see you guys soon.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.
That's it.
Go Pats.